Hello and welcome. We've put this presentation together to help you as parents understand the transition between Year 11 and the sixth form at Newent Community School. We hope that the next few slides will give you some understanding of what your son and daughter is experiencing in the weeks ahead and in the 2 years that they spend with us here at the school. I'd like to begin by introducing myself and a couple of my team members. My name is Lissa Rogers. I'm Director of Sixth Form and I've been working at Newent Community School for nearly 7 years. I teach all A-level subjects, including psychology, sociology, careers education, and I'm also responsible for the university application process. In the middle is Mrs. Collinson. She's our sixth form administrator. She's the lady that you'll get at the end of the phone when you contact the sixth form office, and she's the one to contact if you have absences, or if your son and daughter is poorly, or if you have any general queries about the sixth form. She can pass messages on to your child's tutor or to myself and Mr. Britton. On the right-hand side is Ian Britton. He's the Deputy Director of Sixth Form and he is an experienced teacher and tutor within the sixth form. He teaches many subjects. His subject specialism is PE, and your son and daughter will be familiar with him from lower school.
So how does a school day look in the sixth form? Well, it starts very much like it did in the lower school with a morning tutorial. So our school day starts at 8:40. That's officially when tutorial starts. If you could be in just a bit before then, that would be brilliant. We think it's really important every morning that your son or daughter gets to meet with their tutor, who's an experienced, usually head of department who works with the students. And we've got a range of different activities that we do in that tutorial time. After tutorial time, it's just a regular school timetable until 3:20. So we expect your son or daughter to be in school Monday to Friday from 8:40 to 3:20. There are one or two exceptions, which I'll talk to in a second. So yeah, after tutorial, they go straight to lessons. So students are timetabled between 8 and 10 lessons per subject per fortnight. So the big difference really between the sixth form and lower school is that there will be blanks on their timetable. So they're not going to be timetabled in lessons completely. So these free periods are not free. They are allocated 3 free periods a week where they can just relax, catch up with friends. They can make a cup of tea. They can go up to the gym, go for a walk, whatever they would like to do in those 3 free periods a week. A-levels are hard, so we think it's really important that they do get a little bit of downtime amidst the work that they get set. However, the majority of those blanks on their timetable will be designated for study time. We call it supervised study time. So it's up to the student to organise themselves in terms of their workload. We do give them a lot of help and advice how to do that because it's quite a new skill. But they've got different areas where they can work. So for example, at the minute in the library, this is where students come if they want to do some quiet work. If they've just got deadlines to meet and they want to get their head down and work in silence, then they come into the library. And this space is manned by Miss Gibbons, our librarian. Other spaces the students have got, if they're doing art-based subjects, they're allowed to sign into their study period, which all students do. They need to sign in before they go off to different places to work. But our art students are allowed to go up to their particular art area where they can carry on with their work. Same as IT students who need to use the computers, they can sign in into the study room and then disappear for their supervised study. But the majority of students will work in our brand new sixth form block, and they'll be supervised indirectly by myself, who pops in and out throughout the day, Miss Rogers and Alyssa, and Heather, who works in the office with us. So we're always popping in and out. So that's the difference really, the designated study time where they'll be working, and their 3 free periods a week where they are allowed some downtime. Now, some students ask about driving lessons, and we think that driving lessons are a fantastic thing to do. We think driving is a great skill and it opens many doors in the future. So we do ask that if students are booking driving lessons, that they please use their free periods, or we will allow study periods to do those driving lessons. We ask, please, that no driving lessons are taken during lesson time, obviously with the exception of the theory test and the practical test. If students need to leave the school site for whatever reason, we just ask that they come into the office where Heather will have a yellow folder that they just sign in and out. Likewise, if they need to go home during the day, if they're feeling unwell or poorly, or if they've got a medical appointment, we just ask please that they sign out in the book so we know where they are. So that's pretty much how the school day looks here at Newent School.
Thanks, Ian. Now, as you might imagine, the transition between Year 11 into the sixth form can be a challenging one, mainly because the subjects are so much more difficult. That said, it is really important that your son and daughter attends as much as they possibly can, both in school and within their subjects. Now, I appreciate that COVID-19 has proved a real difficulty in this regard. However, we also know that any student that doesn't attend that minimum expectation of 97% really might struggle in terms of catching up with their subjects and the information that they've missed. That said, COVID-19 has been very problematical in terms of attendance. If your child is poorly for any reason, we'd really appreciate a call on the sixth form line so we are able to put things in place on their return to make sure that they can catch up on any missed learning. The office hours are between 8:30 and 3:30 p.m. if you wish to make a phone call. However, we also welcome emails and we can pick them up at any time. Heather will then let the subject teachers know and the tutor know when your child is due to return. In study periods, students spend time in the study room or in the library where they can quietly get on with the work that they have been set in their lessons. They have to sign in for these periods. And again, if your child is going to be late for whatever reason, sometimes this is unavoidable, we would ask them if they could sign in the sign-in book in the sixth form office. So our students have been back just over a week now, and this slide is really interesting because within the first 2 days, I was so pleased to see that students are already sitting in the study room. They already were getting down to their work, and especially in Year 12, they started as they meant to go on. And this is absolutely phenomenal. And I'd like to congratulate you all as parents for supporting them in their studies because it makes our job in the team much easier to get students on board with their learning. So thank you very much. In the left box there, the students know that they can expect these things from us. So they particularly like the way that they are treated in the sixth form. I've already had several conversations with Year 12 students asking them in what ways the sixth form is different from lower school, and especially for those students who have joined us from alternative providers. They've all settled in very, very well. I have a phenomenal sixth form team of tutors, very experienced individuals, and trust me, they are in very, very good hands. So you can be confident that we will be working with you and with your son and daughter to bring out the very best in them. So it is going to be quite a packed agenda for the next 18 months. That's the time that we have your son and daughter in the sixth form. So they can expect a tutor interview with their tutor once every half term, and that's on an individual basis. Obviously, there will be informal chats as they go through the courses. We'll also support them in their careers education in terms of, are they looking to do applications through university, the UCAS platform, or are they looking for apprenticeships and employment? So we're going to work on the skills and the extra things that they could be thinking about, which would make them more attractive and more competitive in a very competitive world within the next 2 years. On the right-hand side, we obviously expect them to work to the very best of their ability and to use the Milk student planner system to check that they've got their homework written down correctly, to check that they are meeting their deadlines, and to make sure that they can take responsibility for their own work. Again, the attendance is key to this success, and obviously that as a sixth form student, you are now, they will be a role model for lower school students who will see them around the buildings. We're not in bubbles right now at the moment, so I'd really value any student who wishes to help and support lower school, particularly if they want to be student subject ambassadors. That always is favoured in a university application, and there are other things that they can get involved in also.
So I would love to tell you that living with a teenager or a sixth former is just easy and you'll have no problems. But I think we both know that I would be lying. We've got one at home, and I know for the majority of the time it's absolutely fine, no problems. But then every now and again, there's a slight difference of opinion, shall we say. So I'm not going to patronise you regarding how to bring up your child. You've done a great job for what it's worth. The Year 12s have settled in really well, and they just look like a great bunch of young people, same as a Year 13. So I'm looking forward to working with them for the next 2 years. But I know that there's strength when we do that together as a partnership. And there's lots of different things that we could do to help. And if you've got concerns, because I know that there are going to be little hiccups in the road and hurdles that your son or daughter are going to face during their journey, because like I said earlier, A-levels are difficult. There's going to be times where they need support. So I guess the first point of call would be your tutor, your child's tutor. So they're always on hand to, you can drop them a line. Probably email is your best bet at making contact in the first instance. Or you can phone myself or Lisa or Heather in the office who can get information to us. Or we can get hold of subject teachers if it's a subject specific concern that you've got. But just to reassure you really that we're in this together, and we look forward to working with you over the next couple of years.
I love the way Ian has passed this one on to me. I'll do my best. What can you do to help your son and daughter make the transition, make it a successful one in the sixth form? Well, essentially it's doing what you've always done. Ask them at the end of the day about how their day's been. What did they learn in their subjects? What assignments they've got coming up? And get them to talk through their work with you. I'm hoping that if they're doing psychology, for instance, if they've started studying it, they're already coming home and saying what they've learned during the lesson. It's a really good way of working out whether they're enjoying their experiences. Good sleep is fundamental to learning. If they don't sleep well, they won't be able to learn. Concentration is affected, and it can really impact progress. Don't take their word for it that they're having an early night. It might be that they're into gaming, or they're on social media, or they're on their phones. I'm very, very careful to make sure that my phone is switched off in the night. That's when I charge my phone, and they should do the same. So please, encourage them to take their sleep very seriously. That's probably the best preparation they could give themselves for being successful at A level. The other thing you might do is check the Milk platform, just to make sure that they have their homework set out properly, they've got all their deadlines, but also this is the platform that we use to communicate with parents. So any messages, any information about what's happening in the school, you will have access to that via that platform. So we don't send out physical copies of letters. Instead, we communicate via this Milk planner system. Do help them to plan their revision. As I said earlier, they have study periods, so they're not in lessons every single period of the day. So we will support them in organising their time whilst they're at school. But do similar, and I know that you do this already. Please encourage them to spend time studying outside the lessons. Their teachers can only cover the syllabus in the lessons they've got available. Students will be shown where they can access additional reading or extra work. So just because they don't have written work to do doesn't mean to say that there isn't work and learning they can engage with outside lesson time. Encourage them as well in terms of the grades they get. They are very used to performing well at GCSE. Remember, they're preparing for a marathon, and from time to time, despite working hard, they won't necessarily get the grades that they are used to. And that's normal within the A-level process. So please do encourage them that their effort is what makes the difference. And in the long term, what they learn when they don't do things, or when they don't perceive that they've done things very well, that is valuable learning. And I would encourage them to reflect on the feedback that they're given, and this will enable them to put things in place the next time they have an assignment. Remember that grades are A star to E at A level, and as such there aren't any F, G and so on. So as I said, it is a very different level and experience from their GCSE studies. I encourage all our sixth formers to go out and get a part-time job. I think the skills that they learn from that, not just organising their time, but their interpersonal skills, problem-solving skills, dealing with difficult situations, all of these are very much valued, not just by myself as a psychologist, but also from employers post A-level and apprenticeships and UCAS applications. However, it really is important that they don't overburden themselves with additional hours. Employers might put pressure on them to do more than 8 hours a week, because ultimately they get good value for money from a young student. But please, if it is at all affecting their concentration, their sleep or their learning, that's going to be an issue. So ideally, no more than 8 hours of paid employment per week would be ideal. Don't book holidays in term time if you can help it. I know that COVID-19 and the pandemic is probably the last thing on your mind anyway, but it does really help with their learning if they are in class and they're not missing valuable lesson time. A quiet space at home is quite important also in terms of studying. Obviously, they're able to study in the library at school, and school is open after the end of the school day till 5:30 p.m. So if they wish to stay behind and do their study at school, that's fine. But if you can encourage them to work in a quiet space at home, that is always going to help. And please use the school calendar. So on the website, there will be key dates that you're able to access. Find out when your son and daughter's reports are due, where they have progress grades, when there are parents' evenings. But if you're in any doubt, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Feel free to give us a call on the sixth form helpline. Any problem, big or small, we're there to help. In the next couple of slides, you'll be able to see what our sixth form get involved with in terms of extracurricular activities. Now, these vary from formal to informal activities, so you will recognise that the top middle photograph looks a bit strange, and you're probably thinking, what on earth is going on there? This photograph was taken from one of our what we call takeaway quiz nights. So students bring their takeaways, and they pay an entrance fee, and this is one of the activities where, against the clock, they had to use toilet rolls as best their ability to mummify a person in their team, and then they were judged the best mummy in that particular round. So we have good fun. It's a great laugh, and students and teachers get involved with these quizzes. And these mainly happen pre-COVID, but we're looking at reinstating a lot of the things that we've been involved with in the past. On the right-hand side, the top right, one of our ex-students who has gone on to Nottingham University to study neuroscience. This is Caitlin, and she took part in a public speaking competition, and she won it, holding the trophy there quite proudly. We also have trips and visits that are available. So the left bottom, we've got students at the UCAS convention picking up their prospectuses, pre-application to university. And on the right-hand side, we've got a biology field trip, and that's being offered again, I believe. In the middle, at the bottom there, we've got an ex-student who, in her non-contact time at school, where she wasn't in lessons, she asked if she could go and work and volunteer in a local primary school, and that really helped her cement her application to UCAS for primary teaching. So with the experience that she gained in that time, she was very successful in achieving a place at university to study primary education. Now, our students are brilliant at taking the opportunities offered them, and one of which came from Superdry, who got in touch with the school and asked if our students would be interested to spend some time with them, understanding how the business operated from marketing point of view to design to all sorts of things administration wise that they might be able to get involved with. So our students spent some time in head office at Cheltenham, learning about retail and about what it involves and what the company stands for. So that photograph there on the left represents the students who spent time at Superdry. We are really big on sport as well at Newent Community School, and in our alumni we have a number of students who've gone on to be very successful in the sporting arena, and they often come back to us and speak with our students about their experiences. For instance, we've had Vicky Holland, triathlete, Olympian, come back and talk to us about her experiences and what it takes in terms of resilience and to work really hard at a particular goal. So we really welcome students coming back as well and sharing their joys and the work that they've done subsequent to leaving us. We have, again, the Norway trip, the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Award. We offer both bronze, silver and gold award in our school. We're one of the very few schools left who offer the Duke of Edinburgh Award scheme. And in sixth form, there is no compulsion to do the bronze, silver and the gold. So any student who is interested can go straight in at gold level, and we will support them in that. And I think that is absolutely brilliant. And any university or employer values those skills that are learned particularly team building. And we had an all-girl expedition who went to Norway a couple of years ago, and they came back. They were changed individuals. It was totally fantastic. So we would really encourage all our students to get involved with as many things as they can do.
So we're always looking at ways that we can improve here at Newent Sixth Form. And one of the things that Lisa does is she asks our students when they leave us in Year 13 to fill in a Leave Us survey. And this is like a questionnaire just to gauge the students' experience of their time with us at the Sixth Form. I asked them for the both positive and negative experiences and anything that we could do differently as a staff body, because like I said, we're always trying to improve the experience and their time with us in the Sixth Form. So these are some of the comments that students have left us, and it's always really heartwarming as a teacher when they talk about in their comments things like feeling supported or being challenged or stretched or just feeling heard. We really enjoy reading these comments. I promise we've not made these up. Lisa's checked all these and they are genuine. I'll leave them on the screen so you can just have a quick read of some of the comments, but it's a real privilege as a teacher, and especially working in the Sixth Form, because you see these students in Year 7 and they join us with backpacks that are probably slightly bigger than they are, and they go on this journey through the school and then ultimately through the Sixth Form, and we just see them go off to do great things. So it's a real honour to be part of that journey, and we just try and make that journey better really by acting on the comment and the feedback that they give us. We do have a Sixth Form committee as well within the school, and they're constantly feeding back to us about what we do well and what we need to do a little bit better. So yeah, take some time, read the comments, and it's also nice that we have students making contact with us who have left the school. We're starting up an alumni this year where we're getting information back from students who've gone off to fantastic things, different careers all over the world. And it's a real privilege to get emails from students saying, oh, sir, I've done this, or I've gone on to do this. So I'm in the process of collecting actually all that information that will be distributed to our Sixth Form, just to show them the things that different former students are getting up to all over the globe. So one of the questions we always ask on the Leave Us survey is if they could go back in time, our students, and give a message to themselves in Year 12, what advice would they give their Year 12 self? And this is brilliant, fascinating question, and loads of really useful information comes on the back of this particular question. What I love again about this question is that we can say this advice to our students, but as old teachers, they're not always as forthcoming and accepting our advice. But if that advice comes from peers, all of a sudden it holds a little bit more weight, I think, because these students were sat where the Year 12s are currently sat just a few years ago.
Thanks again, Ian. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. I hope you found it informative, especially regarding what your son and daughter will be involved in and the transition from GCSE into A-level. If you do have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. I've put the contact details for your son or daughter's tutor on this slide. If there's ever any doubt, please do give the school a ring, specifically the Sixth Form helpline, and we will make sure that we get back to you. Alternatively, you can contact Mrs. Collinson in the sixth form, and she will get a message to your son or daughter's tutor if you're unsure who they are. So thank you so much for watching the presentation. I wish your son and daughter the very best, and I hope they're having a fantastic experience so far with us. And I've no doubt that we will be in touch again and working together to bring out the very best in them in their time in our sixth form. Thank you again. Bye-bye.